Mallard Business and Arts Initiative. So her vision for this trailhead to begin with, plus the mural, kind of all fell into place. She's a big supporter of the Red Dress Run, so when the opportunity for a grant came up, Paul Mallard Business and Arts Initiative applied for that grant with Pacers Fitness, and we received a portion of the funding. So it was pretty exciting. It's exciting, it's a little emotional, and we're hoping that we can continue to have these installations across the parish.
Having this mural just really helps dress up this whole area, and you really couldn't have asked for a mural that more depicts St. Charles Parish. It really is the essence of St. Charles Parish.
And this is a celebration of life. This is a celebration of our environment, our abilities, ourselves. As people look at it and get familiar with it, they'll see more and more things that I put into the mural, and hopefully, that's my hope, that they will always see something new and different when they look at it.
I did not know what to expect. I mean, I saw a sketch of what it was supposed to look like very early on, but that did it no justice, because when they unveiled it, it was just absolutely gorgeous. Obviously, we want to have these partnerships wherever we can, and really the things that we can do when we partner with outside agencies to make improvements at parish facilities really is limitless.
It just really fills my heart to know that people are seeing reflected in the mural what they see every day, where they live every day in this parish.
We are right off of River Road in Luling, 274 Judge Edward Dufresne Parkway. We are at the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center, right next to the Hale Boggs Bridge. Really a centrally located place for people across the parish to come and enjoy this facility.
1, 2, 3.
As you can see, a great turnout for our ribbon cutting. We're fortunate that so many people have embraced this project. And once again, it's very impactful for our community.
There we go! Today's a great day in St. Charles Parish. We celebrated the opening of our West Bank Spray Park. It's a multifaceted project. Obviously, we have a 4,385 square foot splash park behind me that kids.
That's the carport, right? So you're going to keep these zeros. The one thing they will think quickly about is I'm sure you will. I'm just saying, like, if you were to put the building up on the property line, you've got everything.
There's no gutting.
No, they're going to be belly. That's what I'm getting.
Good evening. Welcome to the St. Charles Parish Council meeting on Monday, August 19th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers in the parish courthouse. Please silence all electronic devices and remove all hats. This meeting is called to order with a prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance from Pastor D.B. Moller with the Good Hope Missionary Baptist Church in Norco.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Let us pray. Our Father and our God, it's indeed that we put all of our trust. First, we must let you know what we believe. We believe there is one and only one living and true God. He's an infinite in spirit, and his name is Jehovah. He's the maker and supreme ruler of both heaven and earth, making all decisions, and he has the last word. Our Father, we come to you in the name of Jesus, our Savior. We come asking, first of all, or we want to really say thank you, because you've done so much for us. Now, beyond the way, and a long way is coming, we have made mistakes, and we have done things that were displeasing in your sight. We ask you to please forgive us. But in the process, dear God, bless this meeting, this council, our president, and this council. Bless St. Charles Parish in its entirety and all the servants that live here. and the residents. It's in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Moyer. Approval of the minutes. I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the regular meeting of August 5th. I have a motion by Ms. Wilson, second by Mr. Carmadell. Please cast your votes. And that motion passes unanimously with Councilwoman Skiba being absent tonight. Special business proclamations, canvas returns, 2024-0276. In recognition, Ms. Frozine Ross Francis. Ms. Wilson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. In recognition, whereas Ms. Frozine Ross Francis was born November 30th, 1939 in Hornville, Louisiana, to Clarence and Bessie Ross. She was blessed with 3 children and is the grandmother of 6. Her passion for music began at age 9 when she pretended to play the piano on catalogs as her mother would sing along. Whereas Frozine's mother saw something special in her and decided to enroll her in piano lessons. No one taught locally, so her mother would take her to New Orleans monthly so that she could perfect her gift. At the age of 12, she began playing for the churches in her community. This drive continued as she became a proud graduate of Carver High School and received a Bachelor of Arts degree in education with a minor in piano at the esteemed Dillard University. And whereas, as a graduate, Frozine began her career with the St. Charles Parish Public School System and later transferred to the New Orleans Public School System, where she remained until retiring in 1994. Her retirement was short-lived. After accepting a position to become a music teacher at Boutique Christian Academy, where she taught for 3 years. And whereas, her love for children and music inspired the opening of the Francis School of Music, teaching over 20 students weekly and hosting a recital for the students to display pieces taught by her. She also joined the American Federation of Music, where select students would exhibit their skills on a piano piece for ratings. And whereas, Frozine is an inspiration to all who cross paths with her and an adopted figure to those who know her. She is without a doubt a staple in her community and the hearts that dwell within. Now therefore, be it resolved, we the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the parish president do hereby express our sincere thanks and appreciation to Mrs. Frozine Ross Francis. And we have Ms. Frozine in the audience.
Church members. All my church members.
I'll take 2.
Good afternoon, and I just want to say, I'll start again. I want to say good afternoon to all of you this afternoon, and I want to first thank God for being so gracious to me. At 84 years old, I'm still able to do what I do, but I'm not able to do what I used to do, but thank God I can do what I do. And I want to thank the council for thinking so much of me. I don't know who's responsible for this, but who nominated me for this award, but this is a great award, and I will treasure it all of my life. I will post it where I can read it and always remember those days when I started taking piano lessons. No one here in this area was teaching piano. And my mother took so much time with me, and now I never will forget what she done for me. So I want to do the same thing for other children and care for them and keep pushing them to become what they can become, because you don't know what's in a child until you start working with them, and then you can see what's in them. Because I've taught some students who have done very well in music, and I am so proud, and they're traveling all over the world, and I've lived long enough to see them do this, and I thank God for that. And thank you so much for honoring me.
All righty. 2024-0277, proclamation, Suicide Prevention Awareness Month and World Suicide Prevention Day. Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Proclamation. Whereas September is recognized as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, a time when millions of people around the world join their voices to raise awareness of suicide preventions, treatment, and recovery. And whereas suicidal thoughts, much like mental health conditions, can affect anyone regardless of age, gender, or background, suicide is often the result of an untreated mental health condition. And whereas the 2024 to 2026 triennial theme of awareness and recognition is changing the narrative on suicide with an associated call to action of Start the Conversation, a campaign which is about transforming how we perceive this complex issue by shifting from a culture of silence and lack of understanding to one of openness, empathy, and support. And whereas changing the narrative requires systemic change with advocating for multi-sectoral policies that prioritize mental health, increase access to care, provide support for those in need, and investing in research to better understand the complexities of suicide and develop evidence-based interventions. And whereas an increased focus on the issue of suicide can be overwhelming for those with a living experience of suicide, it is crucial to recognize that World Suicide Prevention Day, September 10th, 2024, is a day dedicated to raising awareness, fostering change, and providing a supportive community and understanding. And whereas we can all benefit from honest conversations about mental health conditions and suicide because just one conversation can change a life. Now, therefore, be it resolved, we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim September 2024 as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month and proclaim Tuesday, September 10th, 2024, as World Suicide Prevention Day in St. Charles Parish, and call upon all citizens, community agencies, faith groups, and businesses to coordinate collaborative efforts of community partners in the development and implementation of evidence-based suicide prevention and intervention strategies. And we have Dr. Eric Deshawn here tonight to receive this.
I'd like to thank the parish president and also the St. Charles Parish Council for this proclamation. Mental health is something that is important to every single person in our community and throughout this world. and it is an honor to accept this proclamation as a helping professional who collaborates with the educational systems and the judicial systems and the business and also a faith-based community. We all are striving to help as many people as possible deal with depression and other life-changing events that are of much concern. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Deshawn. Thank you, Ms. Fonseca. All righty. Reports, finance, administrative activities, 2024-0278. That'll be the St. Charles Council on Aging. Ms. Keller.
Good evening, President Jewell and Parish Council members. Council on Aging provided the following during fiscal year 2024. We served over 8,400 hot, nutritious meals Monday through Friday at Luling and New Sarpy Center. Distributed educational information to 624 clients to help protect themselves and their properties. 128 Walk with Ease classes were held Tuesday and Thursdays at Luling and New Sarpy Center to support and improve seniors' mental health and physical well-being. We delivered over 8,200 meals to our homebound clients Monday through Friday. Provided over 9,300 hours of light housekeeping. 20 caregivers received over 1,000 hours of respite care for their loved ones to give them a break. Our caseworkers distributed information to over 900 seniors to keep them updated on services they may qualify for. Assisted Catholic Charities with distributing over 400 food boxes. We provided 8 clients with a free medical alert system. 37 pays for the units at a discount price. Assisted clients with over 7,000 hours of personal care. Next. Next. Provided over 7,400 individual, group, and activities at the centers, out in the community center and different places. We provided over 1,400 curb-to-curb rides to activity centers, shopping, errands, and medical facilities in St. Charles, St. John, St. James, Lafourche, Terrebonne, Jefferson, and Orleans parishes. Palliative Care assisted 89 seniors and disabled residents with light bills. To learn more about palliative care or to donate, check out energy.com care. They need some money because right now we can only help those that have a disconnect notice. Council on Aging received over $4.4 million from property taxes, federal, state, and other public support. And we paid out over $5.8 million, and our new building is paid for. Council on Aging is still looking to fill the finance manager and a home delivery meal driver. To apply, applicants must fill out the application at our office. Any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Keller. I appreciate you coming by and giving us an update.
Thank you. Y'all have a good evening.
You too. All right, next on the agenda, 2024-0279, the Department of Legal Services. Mr. Wu.
Thank you, council members and President Jewell. The St. Charles Parish Legal Department is one of the few departments that's actually established by the Home Rule Charter, specifically in Section 3C3. Our department consists of myself, the director, Mr. Raymond, Robert Raymond, the assistant director, as well as 3 paralegals and a legal assistant. We take great pride in our staff. They're very well-educated, very well-prepared. They work tirelessly, even over hours at times, for the things that's necessary for this parish. So at this time, before I get into any further detail, I just want to thank my staff, which includes Mr. Raymond as well, for all the hard work they do. Also, the department oversees all risk management activities with Ms. Champagne. We work day-to-day on safety issues, insurance issues, and other contract issues with risk management. Specifically, when it comes to St. Charles Parish, we represent the council as a governing body. I know from time to time, we do meet with individual council members to address certain legal concerns, and as y'all know, our phones are always available if you do have any concerns. We also represent the parish president and St. Charles Parish specifically. These issues range from complex litigation. One thing President Jewell did when he took office was to try to keep most of the litigation matters in-house to save money. There was a lot of outside counsel that was being hired, and at that point, we decided to keep it in-house litigation, which increased the staff, but has made us very effective for our insurance cases. We also handle matters with all other departments. Primarily, our work consists with planning and zoning and our code enforcement. That is a day-to-day task. We also work directly a lot with public works, wastewater, waterworks on their contracts, their bids that go out. We also do a lot with recreational because they have a lot of smaller contracts and government buildings that have smaller contracts as well. That's applying state, federal, and local laws to these matters. Because of that, what we see in most of our litigation has been goal-oriented towards getting matters moved from opening to finish. That's been our hardest task. It's been our hardest challenge. As we know with public records requests, planning and zoning matters, we get constant public records requests, which is every document to the public is pretty much available with certain exceptions. We have a staff that's assigned just to handle that. With regard to our planning and zoning matters, our goal is, I know it sometimes seems impossible, but our goal is to open up a file, contact the homeowners, the property owners, try to work out a resolution if possible. Our last resort is trying to file litigation against our residents. But oftentimes, as you know and you're aware, we have to do so. Our goal has always been to try to get those cases wrapped up in a 4 to 6 month time frame. Sometimes that's easier said than done. The hard cases are the ones that have service issues. Everyone has their right to due process, so we need to make sure the residents are served with their process and have their right to appear in court. Currently, this year alone, the legal department has opened up 120 matters. 78 of those have been planning and zoning matters, and 5 of them have been our insurance litigation matters. The rest are miscellaneous across the other departments. But it goes to show you where the primary focus is keeping this parish in a good state of operation and keeping the residents safe. We also just this year, with not including planning and zoning matters, we've closed over 20 matters, which is a big accomplishment for a legal department of our size. So overall, we're charged with the prosecution and enforcement of these matters all the way from the beginning through judgment, including the appeals process. I want you to know that if at any time any individual council members have any questions, please feel free to call us. I know when the new council took office, there was several meetings. Come over to the office across the street. We'll be glad to meet with you. We'll be glad to update you on any matters that you may have any questions on. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them at any time.
Thank you, Mr. Drew. I just have one question. Risk management, what is the staffing for that department?
So the staff of risk management, we have Ms. Champagne, who is the assistant to the director of that department. There's a staff of 3 others as well. And then sometimes we have miscellaneous staff that does the administrative side. So you're looking at a staff of about 4 to 5 total in risk management.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Drew.
Thank you.
All righty, next on the agenda, 2024-0280, Parish President remarks and report. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairman. We'll go ahead and start with Willowdale Boulevard. That project is coming to a close. Contractors were out there today installing the posts that will hold the guardrail up for that project. So as you know, and as we've put out over Facebook and our emergency alert system. The intersection of Willowdale Boulevard and Highway 90 is closed this week, but again, crews are putting the finishing touches. Guardrails, striping, asphalt are going to be done in these next few days, and we will be glad to see it back open full-time. Remember, this project was to add the addition of a right turn lane for cars to make this intersection more efficient. Okay. Public Works ditch maintenance. Public Works crews have been working throughout the parish to ensure our ditches are in tip-top shape throughout the height of hurricane season. You can see crews here measuring ditches, ditch bottoms, to make sure that the proper grading in depth allows for water flow. Wastewater Department training. Our wastewater department employees require training that is required by the state. So 24 of our wastewater employees recently completed their 32-hour examination review course, where they gained some insightful and valuable experiences alongside other wastewater employees from surrounding parishes. Again, this is a requirement that is from the state. The Louisiana Department of Health wastewater collection and treatment certification are required for our employees to work around sewage effluent. Future Desalmans Boat Launch Road update. As you can see, there's a major canal crossing that was just completed. The contractor is going to start pumping sand into the impoundment area this week, raising the launch height to the levee and making it much safer for people who are going to use that boat launch in the future. Otherwise, they would have to back up a ramp and then back down a ramp, which would not be fun. So there is going to be a time that's going to be required for all of that sediment to compact, and we will have better information on how long that it will be exactly, but we know it's at least a year or more that it's going to have to compact. But we don't think that's going to slow us down from getting the water side of the boat launch started and under construction. We are still planning to launch boats at the end of 2025. Waterworks emergency repair in Norco. Recently, they had a water main break near Clayton and 5th Street in Norco. Some of our Waterworks employees jumped into action and quickly made that repair. I want to thank all of the people who were present who got that done. That's Randy Fonska, Dwayne Williams, Roscoe Commerdale, Joshua Austin, Thomas Mitchell, Karen Mott, Alex Fonseca, Nashawn Williams, Greg April, Raymond Hicks, Mason Boyer, and Lyndon Uzay. We really appreciate these guys for always jumping in. I'm going to tell you, this is a situation that happens more often than people realize. I saw this after Hurricane Ida. These guys worked incredible hours and did stuff like this to get that water back up and running. And I want to address real quick, a lot of people will ask us, well, why don't you turn the water off? Why are they in the hole? We are pumping that hole out. You can see there's a pump in the background there. You can see a hose coming out of it. If we turn the water off and water inside that hole goes back into our pipe, we are now under a boil water advisory. So we take pride in never having to do that. Always knock on wood, like some of the surrounding parishes that we see. But our guys are not afraid to keep the water running. And look, boil water advisory, and nobody has water, including businesses, which is a big disruption. So for this really actually relatively minor piece that they had to replace, and they actually showed it to me, really small, they got it done, and we appreciate everything that they do on a daily basis. And all of our employees, what they do to jump right into situations and get things done. We have a lot of dedicated employees here at St. Charles Parish Government. Okay, continuing on with Waterworks. Our East Bank Ida repairs, I know I kind of talk about this every meeting, but you're seeing some progress here being made. So the storage building that was destroyed during Ida, that was just a slab the last time I shared these photos, has walls and a roof, and it won't be long before it's complete. This is going to be a 3,600 square foot storage building. So we're going to store pipe, valves, other types of tools necessary for our guys to do their job on a daily basis. Moving over to the courthouse, second floor renovations are coming along as well. You're going to see that there's going to be some scaffolding off of the west stairs of the courthouse. This is going to be allow for the rehabilitation of the roof above the staircase. There's going to be electrical HVAC and plumbing work that's going to be in the ceilings, plus the installation of a new drop ceiling. If you saw what we did on the first floor a few years ago and put in the new drop ceiling, got rid of the old 70s styrofoam ceiling that they had up there, it's gonna make it match. And obviously, the work that is being done in the sheriff's office on the first floor and the clerks of court office on the first floor is ongoing as well. We're expecting that to wrap up in December. All right, hazard mitigation plan meeting and survey. Our Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness is working to update our hazard mitigation plan for 2025. We have to update this plan every 5 years with GOSEP and FEMA, and it's to outline our risks and vulnerabilities to natural disasters. Obviously, because of projects that we have completed since then, those risks and vulnerabilities are changing, and we think for the better. And we hope to, the next 5-year review, whenever that takes place, that our risks and vulnerabilities will be lower again. Each parish in the state has a hazard mitigation plan, and GOSEP has employed the help of the Stevenson Disaster Management Institute at LSU to assist each parish with their plan. There's a survey for the St. Charles Parish residents to fill out online that helps our experts and the experts who were hired by the state complete the plan. It only takes a few moments to complete, and we appreciate the public's input to update our plan before our May meeting. You can take the hazard mitigation survey, you can scan that QR code, and I think we put some information online as well. All right, Bethune Park groundbreaking. I appreciate all of the council members who joined us at Bethune Park last week as we officially are underway with completing the overhaul of Bethune Park. Phase 1 of the project is going to include basketball court, pavilions, new lights around the fields, new fencing, sail shades that cover the bleachers, improved drainage and signage in remembrance of Bethune High School. It is a historical site in this parish. The first phase of the project is to be completed at the beginning of 2025. And with a generous donation from Shell Norco, phase 2 of the project will occur immediately after that, which will allow us to cover the basketball court and provide some accessible playground equipment and covering. These additional amenities will be installed again after the completion of phase 1. Continuing with recreation, we have recently partnered with NFL Flag /RCX. Our flag football league will have a new look and feel this year thanks to the partnerships between Parks and Recreation and the NFL Flag Football Association. Players will wear NFL branded jerseys with team logos, and coaches will have access to practice materials, training, on-field resources like play formations and rule books, as well as health and safety guidelines. We do want to make sure our coaches know that with this partnership, there is a few rules changes to flag football, so we want to make sure that they pay attention to that before games start. But the partnership allows for players and coaches to really have a more immersive experience on the field, and it also allows lower registration costs for families to participate, which is always a good thing. Moving on to RSVP. Last week, we had our RSVP volunteers from St. Charles, St. John the Baptist, and St. James parishes gathered in Lutcher to celebrate a thank you for the volunteers and their hard work this year. St. Charles Parish has 104 volunteers that attended the luncheon, and the following volunteers were recognized as individuals with the most hours given this year: Antoine Billiot, Therese Fauché, Bobby Laverne, Betty Muller, Perry Muller, Janet Owens, Red Roussel, Steve Slowinski, Albert Tomplay Jr., and Renelle Troxler. So we want to thank all of our seniors who participated, not only in the thank you reception that they had in Lutcher, but also recognize the volunteers who had the most hours. We have Clear the Shelters Month. Our animal shelter is one of over 1,000 shelters nationwide participating in Clear the Shelters Month to try to connect residents with pets in need of a home. Adoption fees per pet are less than $100, which is quite a bargain considering all the vaccinations and preventative care that goes into finding a pet a home. And to view animals that are adoptable through our shelter, you can visit www.bit.ly www.bit.ly/SCP adoptions. I'm going to just read that one more time. www.bit.ly/SCP adoptions. Procurement auction. We have a procurement auction that is open now through the 28th. Again, we do these as many times as we can to clear out old equipment that is no longer being used or necessary. We want to thank our procurement office, especially our coordinator, Thor Dufresne, for the work that they do, making sure that this equipment is auctioned off and out of our yards. Election commissioners are needed. As you know, we have a big general election coming up in the fall. So the clerk of court's office is holding a training session for residents interested in becoming election commissioners. Those who are interested must be 17 years of age or older, registered to vote in St. Charles Parish, and able to fill out forms and vote without assistance. For information on becoming an election commissioner, please call 985-783-6632, or you can email elections@scpcoc.net. That's elections@scpcoc.net. That concludes my report, but Chairman, I wanted to just recognize a couple people in the audience. We have Jake Benoit from Senator Kennedy's office, as well as Doug Sheremy from Governor Landry's office. Thank you all for being here today as well.
Thank you, President Jewell. Ordinances, resolutions introduced for publication, public hearing, Monday, September 9th, 2024, 6 p.m., council chambers in the courthouse in Hanville. 2024-0281, 2024-0285, 2024-0286, 2024-0287, 2024-0288, and 2024-0289. Ordinances scheduled for public hearing introduced at a previous meeting. 2024-0270, an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances to revise Chapter 15, Motor Vehicles, Traffic Section 15-9, Speed Limits, A, to provide an exception to the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit, to lower the speed limit on Fashion Boulevard and Dewey Drive in Fashion Plantation Estate Subdivision, Hanville, to 20 miles per hour. Ms. Wilson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I asked for your support. There was a couple of residents that actually called in reference to having the miles per hour decrease from 25 to 20. There were 74 surveys that did go out with 21 yays that came back in 7 nays. So I asked for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. File number 2024-0270 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. All righty, seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Is there any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2024-0270. And that motion passes unanimously. 2024-0271, an ordinance to rescind ordinances numbers 23-5-5 and 24-3-12, and to approve a purchase and/or expropriation of a 1.501 acre servitude designated as parcel B3 and an 8,687 square foot 0.199 acre servitude designated as P-106 over property owned by Christine Gerstner Smith for the Munch Pump Station and Drainage Modification Project. Mr. Oob.
Thank you. As indicated, this is a request first to rescind the prior ordinances. Back in 2023, the property had appraised value, and subsequently we had to do another appraisal, so there was another ordinance. Those appraisals have been disputed by the landowner, so we decided to get a third appraisal in place to try to see if we could resolve this matter. That third appraisal, which is most up-to-date and recent, has the appraised value of $7,813. So this ordinance is requesting the council to first rescind the prior ordinances, but then also grant the authority for the parish to either purchase or expropriate for up to the appraised value.
Thank you, Mr. Oob. File number 2024-0271 is now open for public hearing. If anyone would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. All right, seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Any council discussion? All right, seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2024-0271. And that motion passes unanimously. 2024-0272, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a lease agreement between DJV LLC and St. Charles Parish for the River Parish's Workforce Development Board office space in St. Charles Parish. Mr. Oob.
Yes, I'll defer to Mr. Palamone. He's going to handle this matter.
Yeah, okay, so this is a new lease. Our current lease is about to expire. It's for another one-year term. The difference this time is that we're getting 3 6-month options for renewal after the first year. The rent stays the same as it was before, and all the terms and conditions of the original lease remain intact for this lease, and we ask for your support.
Thank you, Mr. Palamone. File number 2024-0272 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. All right, seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2024-0272. And that motion passes unanimously. All right, 2024-0275, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a wetlands mitigation agreement by and between St. Charles Parish and Delta Land Services, LLC, for wetlands mitigation for the Muntz Pump Station, Parish Project number P210301, Muntz Pump Station number 2, Parish Project P210806, and drainage improvements along Highway 61 permitted under the Muntz Pump Stations and Drainage Improvement Project in the amount of $175,800. Mr. Sam.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a major milestone for the parish relative to obtaining the permits for Muntz. It's one of the final major pieces prior to getting the permits. This mitigation applies to both pump stations. The bulk of the mitigation incurred is really due to the sump areas. Each pump station has a half acre. The parish had to go back, being that we were under an out of compliance issue with no title exchange for the last 15 years. We had to go back, and ELOS and Civics did an outstanding job in going back and pulling up all the data over the last 15 years, and we successfully proved that we did not have any major impacts to the wetlands in that area. Also, too, we're separating out the 630 acres of St. John in the sense that that's still going natural drainage towards the lake. So we're very fortunate that we're able to settle this, and we're able to settle it out of compliance. All of this is the total of everything that we're doing there, and I appreciate your support.
Thank you, Mr. Sam. File number 2024-0275 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address. For the record, you'll have 3 minutes to speak. All right, seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Mr. Daniels.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Sam, we talked about this right before the meeting, and you explained to me that these proportions going into the mitigation bank, those are assigned by what agencies again?
By DNR.
Okay.
You see it here as DENR, which is the new name for them. But DNR set the acreage and the types of wetlands that we had to buy and what banks were acceptable. And then the Corps came back and they accepted what DNR did, but they added additional acreage to it. And but it's still all total came up to I think it was 2.6 acres, and it was 2.8 acres by the Corps and 1.8 by DNR.
So for us lay people, this is not something that the parish decides. This is something other agencies tell us what we have to do
The
to
agents decide what it
mitigate.
is, what banks to buy it from, then we have to go purchase it. And like I said, the bulk of the damages that we're paying for are the 2.5-acre sumps that we're building and the footprint of the station itself. So I'll say this too, that DNR was very cooperative in trying to settle the out-of-compliance issues, and they worked very well with us in doing that.
Thank you,
And
Mr.
we're greatly appreciative of that. And the Corps also. The Corps is, on the 404 side in particular, has worked very hard to try and settle these issues, especially with the out-of-compliance and operating. These damages, this mitigation we're paying also includes the berm that's along Highway 61 that's on the lake side by the interim pump station. We had to pay mitigation on that berm that ran from the station up to the St. John Parish line. The parish now holds the permit on the interim pump station. And also, too, the new permit is there's no title exchange, and it's all considered fast lands now, which is a major step forward for the parish.
Thank you, Mr. Sam. This is an amazing accomplishment. Thank you so much.
I'll say this too, that, the parish has worked very hard on this permit. President Jewell has spent a total number of hours on the permit, and it's, every time he gets an opportunity, we're texting back and forth, and he's working with DNR and the Corps, wherever he happens to be, trying to move this thing forward. And there is a little bit of risk that this acreage could change, but we don't think so. But the reason we're moving forward is we're trying to get this thing to bid. The permit, the 408 permit, went to public review a week ago Monday. The tribal consultation is under public review. Those are the final steps, other than the actual real estate for the spillway itself. You got to separate the spillway separate from the station. And we're trying to figure out how to move that forward, and President Jill had comments with them already about that too, how to move the real estate portion of the spillway forward. It's just a formality. Don't have to pay anything, but it's get the system to move.
Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sam, I was relieved to see that the amount is so minimal compared to what we had to spend on the Willow Ridge, Ellington, and Magnolia Ridge reaches the millions. Did they impose a deadline to remove the interim pump station?
Yeah, the way the permit's been written, we have to pull it, I think, 90 days after the last pump station's online. Not the first, the last. So as soon as we receive this permit, we're going to go to bid on the first station. If it works out the way we have it planned, we're going to go to bid the following week after we receive the permit. And then the second station will come when we settle these property issues, like with Ms. Smith. There's another property issue that's somewhat similar that Mr. Corey will bring it to you on the Christina sale of the property. We've had some issues there, but that's not related to the first station.
Okay, thank you.
Sam, thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, I know it always seems like it's a long, drawn-out affair, but, I mean, we started this project 3 years ago, I guess, 3 years ago, and we're at this point. I mean, we're actually talking about being able to bid this project. So I want everybody to know we're working on it, but it takes time. We've done successful with getting money for this and going through it and making sure everything's right. This mitigation, I know originally when we all had talked 3 years ago, we were talking about millions of dollars maybe. And to be able to settle this and get this for $175,000 and do this is fantastic. So I appreciate all the hard work, Mr. Sam, and continue.
Well, it's been a cooperative, effort. Mr. Miles has worked hard on this as well, and so is Miss Andre. She's a godsend in a lot of ways. I think Miles would say that, and we've all, and like I said, Mr. Matt has worked on it day and night, literally.
let's continue to keep up the work. Like I said, I think we got a really good plan. We got a mission. We got a lot of projects to get finished in the parish to get our master drainage. So I appreciate all efforts on that. Please cast your votes for file number 2024-0275. And that motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Ordinances, resolutions have been tabled. Does anyone want to remove the tabled items? Okay, seeing none. 2024-0269, a resolution authorizing the publication of a notice of intention to create Highway 90 Economic Development District Number 1 of the Parish of St. Charles, State of Louisiana, under the authority of Part 2, Chapter 27, Title 33 of Louisiana Revised Statutes of 1950, as amended, providing for the employment of special counsel and providing for other matters connected therewith. Mr. Fauché. Oh.
Yeah, I think everyone is saying the
Wrong
same
one.
thing. Yeah.
Go sit back down, Corey.
All right.
Just stay close, though. All right, apologize, that was the wrong resolution. Okay, our next resolution, 2024-0282, a resolution clarifying that St. Charles Parish has complied with the bidding procedures of Louisiana Revised Statutes 38-2211 for the construction of the Crawford Canal Sunset Pump Station Bar Strain Expansion Project, BA 0270. Ms. Chessel.
Good evening. So for this project, the state, through CPRA, is providing $6 million in funding to St. Charles Parish. So one of the terms in the funding agreement is that we certify that the project was bid according to Louisiana public bid laws, and we do that through this resolution. In the past, I've had residents say, well, does this indicate that something was wrong? But no, it does not. It's just one of those things that they ask you to do for $6 million. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you, Ms. Chasson. File number 2024-0282 is now open for public comment. If anyone would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, our public comment is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2024-0282. And that post passes unanimously. Thank you, Carl. Appreciate it. 2024-0283, the correct resolution. A resolution authorizing the publication of a notice of intention to create Highway 90 Economic Development District Number 1 of the Parish of St. Charles, the State of Louisiana, under the authority of Part 2, Chapter 27, Title 33 of the Louisiana Revised Statutes of 1950, as amended, providing for the employment of a special counsel and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Mr. Fauché.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. We are once again asking you to approve this first step of creating the Highway 90 Economic Development District. The district boundaries will sync up with the boundaries of the commercial overlay zone, which you just approved at the last meeting, as well as added a handful of properties that are next to it. If you approve this tonight, we will then have to advertise for 2 weeks, and then the third step of the approval process will be followed up with an ordinance that you all will have to approve. So by doing so, by passing the resolution tonight, you're stating your intent to do everything that I mentioned. I'm happy to answer any questions you have about the district, the incentives that are offered, or anything else you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Fauché. File number 2024-0283 is now open for public comment. Does anyone like to come up and speak regarding this item? Please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Okay, seeing none, Any council discussion? Ms. Fonseca?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Corey, I'm happy to see after our discussion last meeting that the rates have been reduced according to the Attorney General's approved rates for state-level organizations that was released in February.
Yes, ma'am.
I do understand from my conversation with Mr. Oob that this type of work is more specialized and requires, a firm that has experience with it. And at the same time, we had the conversation that, we do want to negotiate lower rates with, matters that are more common. And Mr. Uba indicated to me that y'all do continue to do that. So with that, I'm satisfied. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fonseca. The public comment period was closed. Ms. O'Daniels?
Yes, Mr. Fauché.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure you can answer this or Mr. Oob can answer this.
Okay.
This is just the preliminary portion of the first
approval
steps of
process.
the approval.
Yes.
Okay. Once you get to the next step, do you anticipate having to employ special counsel for those further steps?
Yes, yes. The council that we will employ will cover this district that we're wanting to create as well as any other future districts that we may create, and it will all fall under the cap that is included within the resolution.
The next steps are not covered by the cap, or are they covered by the cap?
No, they are. Yes,
So
ma'am,
all
they are.
steps having to do with the
Yes, ma'am.
creation of this economic district
Yes, ma'am.
are covered by this cap?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So there will be no further legal
Not
counsel
for this one.
need?
No, ma'am.
And if there is a further legal need, which there might be, will you be coming back to the council, or is this included in the plurality of the language in this ordinance?
I would think
on this
with any
resolution?
future needs, that would be a conversation that Mr. Uba and I will have. I don't know, Corey, you want to mention?
Yeah, we'll have those discussions specifically once, if the council does create a district, when the negotiations start happening with the developers, with regard to any agreements, we may have to employ special counsel to do that. At that time, we'll see whether, as we talked on the phone as well, because we're using the AG rates, we don't believe there's a need to go to the Attorney General. However, we want it to remain transparent in this matter. So we still would decide to follow the revised statute 42-263, although we really don't have to because of revised statute 16.2, which allows us to follow things based on the Home Rule Charter. But I think once we get to that agreement, because that agreement is going to have to be approved by the council, it's probably best just to submit a resolution to have council hired at that time.
Okay, because the language in the resolution kind of indicates there might be additional agreements, and that by entering into this resolution, we're agreeing to those agreements in the future, even though we haven't seen them.
Yes, but we'd have to specifically agree to whatever those agreements would be. And we've talked about this, Mr. Fosh and I have, about any future moving on this, we try to remain with caps. That
Oh,
we
yeah,
know that if we
absolutely.
have phases, that we come to the council with a cap amount. That way, as we need it, we can work up to that cap. If we need more, we come back again.
Okay, so if we revisit, we come back and we have another conversation. All right, thank you.
Ms. Fonseca?
Thanks. Just real quick. The previous resolution, the cooperative endeavor agreements were not included in the cap, but you're saying, for clarity, that cooperative endeavor agreements are included with this cap? That's what I'm reading. It has,
The cooperative endeavor agreements may not be included with the cap, but the difference there is that those are usually paid by the private partner.
they can be,
Yes.
would not be. Okay. Okay, I just wanted some
Yes.
clarity. What I heard was a little different, I think, but
And just,
thanks for clarifying.
Yeah, and just to clarify, this one, in the realm of things, is pretty straightforward. We're just going to create the district, state the boundaries, and that's going to be the end of it, right?
Yeah.
There may be future districts that may involve some taxes, so
Right.
we'll have to wait and see.
Right, and I appreciate Mr. Stating that there will be a cap on all agreements like this. Thank you.
So I guess I have one question. So,
Sir.
regarding what Ms. Fonseca said, So in the agreement, we're expecting there to be multiple cooperative endeavor agreements that are going to have to be done?
We are expecting the possibility of creating multiple districts.
Okay.
Each district may not have a CEA. It all depends on the purpose of the district.
Okay. Because I saw the apostrophe.
Yeah,
and I wasn't
yeah.
quite sure of that, so. All right, any further council discussion?
Thank you.
All right, seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2024-0283. And that motion
Thank you.
passes unanimously. All right, 2024-0284, a resolution endorsing a waiver from Appendix C subdivision regulations of 1981, Section 3 geometric standards, C lots, 1 size and 1B width, as requested by Johnny Dunn for Dunn Homes LLC. Mr. Albert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a minor subdivision consolidating 3 lots down into 2. The lot with the house on it, 14A, requires a waiver for width and area. The configuration that they've shown allows the property to preserve the required setbacks. Staff had no objection to the request, and the Planning Commission approved the subdivision contingent upon the resolution here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Albert. File number 2024-0284 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Okay, seeing none, the public comment is now closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2024-0284. And that motion passes unanimously. Next on our agenda, meetings, announcements, notices, etc. Meetings, Housing Authority, Tuesday, August 27, 2024, 6 p.m. at the council chambers. The Hospital Service District Number 1, Wednesday, August 28, 2024, at 2 p.m. in the council chambers. Excuse me. The Lafourche Basin Levy District, Wednesday, September 4th, 2024, 6 p.m. The Lafourche Basin Levy District Office, 21380 Highway 20 in Vacherie. The Planning and Zoning Commission, Thursday, September 5th, 2024, at 6 p.m. in the council chambers. The Communications District, 911, Monday, September 9th, 2024, 5 p.m., the 911 Center, 222 Joe Louis Lane in Hanville. The St. Charles Parish Council, Monday, September 9th, 2024, at 6 p.m. in the council chambers. We have a parish holiday, Monday, September 2nd, 2024, for Labor Day. Please note there'll be a 3-week lapse between council meetings. Our next regular council meeting will be held on Monday, September 9th, 2024, in the council chambers at the courthouse. The Board of Review, the parish will be sitting as a Board of Review September 12th through the 26th, 2024. 2024's assessment list, written or oral protests must be received by the Parish Council office by September 16th, 2024 at 4 p.m. The public hearings to consider the proposed 2025 capital and consolidated operating budgets are Tuesday, October 29th, 2024 at 9 a.m., Thursday, October 31st, 2024 at 1 p.m., and Monday, November 4th, 2024 at 6 p.m. I need a motion and a second to adjourn. I have a motion by Mr. Bruyere, second by Ms. O'Daniels. Please cast your votes to adjourn. And that motion passes unanimously. Have a great evening. We are officially adjourned.